that. Right. So here we have the first iteration of my design. It's going to be an e-commerce website. Don't mind the layout right now. It's just a brainstorming. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to fit all of this stuff into 960 pixels or less. I may end up putting the filter bar up on top instead of the left. I think for this space right here, I might reserve it for something else, or I can make this text that wraps like this, prices like this, put something here, but there's some empty space. I haven't done this before, but I could also do it like this, and then somehow make the text sort of I think I'm going to reserve this space for maybe colors or materials, or maybe the seller. Maybe putting the seller here, the seller's icon in initials with maybe some kind of star rating would be a good idea. So you know who it's being sold by. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try a little badge here. We're steering away from things like Amazon, because this store is going to be set up where every product is a different product, even if it has the same description and picture. No two products will be the same, unfortunately, or fortunately, because this is going to be like for artisans, where the whole thing is that every product is a unique product, and that's how it's going to be marketed. Everything is handmade, and even duplicates have human touches, little human imperfections that make it unique, right? So with some marketing and a good example like this, I'm thinking that putting the seller's name or the seller's badge or name with the seller's reviews, maybe the seller's information here, maybe that's a good idea. I'm not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and try that real quick. Try that again. So we can either display seller, or because I got to remember they're looking for something. Like we could put tags here. We could put colors here. I've seen Amazon do colors. You know, if we had color information, colors would be some information that could be displayed in a small area, and that actually could also be automated at some point. We could also do categories or tags. What it is, though, should be apparent by its picture. At this point, we've got text. We've got some area and text the space we need to fill. I feel like we need to take advantage of as much space as possible. But what do we put there? Because we've narrowed the definition of the container so small now, we can't put the product. We could put the product name next to it. Have to be small like this, though. Need to grab that. We could still put it like this, maybe. We make the price small like this. And increase the product this, but then the description text is what they're drawn to instead. I'm kind of looking at Amazon. Shout out to Amazon if they watch this video. I mean, they make the image. The image is always the center of attention. So I guess, because you see how, well, they have extra space here, but they don't have everything all going straight down. They try to group things together that make sense, and they leave space for extras like this. So that's what I'm trying to do here, but I'm trying to take up as much space as possible. I'm trying to use as much space as I can, as efficiently as I can. At the same time, you can't make it huge, because you have to fit as much as you can. You have to fit as much as you can. Fill that. Unfortunately, it's limiting the size of that. I don't like that. But you get the idea. This is a see more button. You'd have some text here, and it would cut off at some point, so that if you wanted to see more, or or if you clicked on the item itself, it would take it to a detail page. For now, though, it probably will expand out to a description until I have that implemented at some point. I want some division of space here. Have to figure out how to do it, but something like this, where you've got the product name, the picture is the center of attention, then the product name. That you know, it's what is it? What is it called? How much is it? And the whole point of like you want to get them hooked on it, right? Because that's the part of story writing. You're writing an experience, so you want to be like, what is this? And what do I want to know about it? And you start reading, and then you kind of get a little irritated, just a little, like, or curious. You're like, well, what is this? What you see more, and you go to a detail page, right? It'll pull up a detail, right? That's the idea of this. And the text, I'd probably make the text a little smaller than that. Actually makes it take up less space overall, which is good. I may refine this later, but for now, I think that's going to be a revised component here. So I got to make it all fit in no more than 960 pixels. Yes, I could make that bigger. I don't see the need for it to be any bigger. If you style it right and you lay it out right in a just the right way, you can get it to where if you just zoom it in by increasing the font size, you just zoom the entire page in and the layout and everything follows. Yeah, that's tricky to do, but if it's done right, like see Amazon, and you get bigger, they did font size with like breakpoints, so you can zoom in and you see more, right, like this, and it's like you're viewing it on a mobile device, something like that maybe. That I want you to be able to see what you need to if you have to. I want the layout to adapt to that. That might be a black diamond considering the amount of time I have and what I'm trying to implement. I haven't even gotten this approved yet. I'm just planning. Group. Try to line them center like this. I might try to, this thing isn't letting me do it, but I want to align them like baseline. I guess that would be baseline. That's box though. I'd probably want to align the bottom like this together. That would look better for me, my opinion. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and group these together. All right, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and try to clone that. Goal is I want to be able to clone it 4 times. And we can, with room to spare, might I add. A lot of room to spare, which actually means there's a lot of white space. Wait, Jordan, you forgot. I forgot I was going to trying to click on this thing. Just saying, nope, not today, Jordan. I hate it when it does that. Okay, so now with this layout, I can fit this like 200 by 200 on a 960. I could fit this with some leftover space. I could do it like that, or I could put the search and filter up top. I'm trying to present as many products as I can while also presenting a potentially complicated search option. Yeah, and then a search bar at the top. Okay, I'm going to refine this. Instead of filtering by name, with the search box, we could have the search box default to filtering by name. And because it doesn't ask you to filter by name, it has a search box here. So we could get rid of this part here. As we're going to include a search box here. Going to include a little bit of visual separation here. Thinking something like this maybe, right? I need to edit this group here. Go ahead and group that together. I was going to justify these, like, darn it. I was going to justify the tags so that they would just spread out, but we're dealing with a layout where there's not a lot of space. Why it's not grouped together? Annoying. I'm going to do that real quick. Cool. Now I get to move them all around. The idea is they'd fit as much as they could within their container, and they would expand their height up to a certain point, and which then you would want to scroll maybe. I am trying my best to click on this thing and it's being frustrating. Okay, there we go. Nothing worse than trying to deal with software and it being frustrating like that. right? So I was gonna have to select all of these tags. I wish you could just like select like this, like you can in Word. That would be great. Group that one together already. So I was gonna move like I said, I was trying to take up as much space as I could. This will allow me to compact it a little bit. If I decide to let the screen out far enough, because I can do this now, and for the 960 layout, I can do, could probably do something like this because there's enough space, right? I am not selecting that thing behind it. It's not my intent. All frustrating. And that leaves room for whatever else you want to put here. Maybe a search suggestion or something. Maybe you'll have additional filters later. If you were really fancy, you could make it where you display something else here or something. But nah, I think this is going to be fine. Then maybe the filter could be attached to the product display or something. But did I say filter? I meant footer. Do we need a footer though? I don't know. Amazon has one at the end of their product listing. It's just the thing is in a product listing, you want to take up as little space as possible that's not being dedicated to actually displaying products, because that's what they're there for most of the time right now. Not necessarily there for footer. They might want to contact you about something, and they'll need to be able to find your contact info, which is kind of why I have it this way. You could have an about or a contact link here. That's technically not usually where they put it in larger websites, but this website is small enough and focused enough where it literally has a home page. It has a home or a shop, which is, it just takes to a default location, like maybe the suggestions. Yeah, I was thinking the search suggestions. The cart would take you to your cart and an about section for the website. And then you click on this to get to your user stuff, or it could pop up a menu where you could go to your user stuff. Either way, this website is so specialized that it doesn't really need all of the complicated stuff that has to go into something like Amazon, where you have multiple language support. You got to worry about returns and orders and stuff. And like that is something you have to worry about here at some point, right? But they have all of this extra stuff here, and their layout is complicated enough where you have to worry about that kind of thing. And they're a big company, so at the end of all of this, you have ways to get around everything. Then you have more ways to get around to the things that matter on this website. So yeah, at some point you're going to need a footer, but I feel like right now, a contact page, a contact link would be enough. I guess at some point we could put maybe, because you don't necessarily want it to be buried in the menu. You don't necessarily want to have to make them look for something. Maybe in an more advanced version of this site, if you search for returns, like return, refund, exchange, or something like that, keywords would instead redirect you to a link instead, where the product listing would maybe return a link, or would redirect you to the return page or something, or an FAQ or an article. I think that would be interesting. And add another one, link. And then we have to implement the create, edit, and delete functionality. And that will be on its own. That'll probably be on its own storyboard. That requires the implementation. Probably, in order to implement the admin dashboard, it would be handy to implement a product listing, at least a product listing. You would need a way to get to the editor. I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe help. Maybe I could have a help link that brought them to an FAQ with some links for returns, refunds, and exchanges. Ideally, if I was a more complicated site, I'd probably would put returns or exchanges or something like that. I might put that inside of the user link. But I'm not a very complicated site right now. I can afford a bit of navbar space to make it easier, because remember, this is a specialized website, right? We're not mimicking Amazon. We're never going to be as big as Amazon, but we're going to be good at what we do. So we're going to try to make it easier for them to find a few things that they do need, right? So you have your user there, amount of items in your cart, so as a kind of badge, maybe somewhere. You have a home, you have an about. Do you need an about though? A contact form. Maybe that could be in the help section. Maybe help could redirect them to sublinks about, yeah. Yeah. Or support. Support's probably a more recognized keyword. Whenever something goes wrong, you look for support on a website, right? So if this thing ever went real, we'd have a support link, right? Like this. That looks great to me. And then we could have a search box at the top here. I really am stealing some ideas from Amazon, but if you look at every other website out there, they do. I know it's dirty, but they do the same thing. People have already come up with a formula that works, and they copy a little bit of it, and then they make the rest of it their own. You will see that this is literally the same thing that Amazon does. I'm formatted differently because I'm trying to make it work for what we're doing here. I don't have nearly as much information to display and sort through that as Amazon does right now. So there's no need for me to be as complicated as they are right now. So that's why I'm doing it like this. Used to having to click on that line, right? So that's where you'd have to do it. And anyways, we're gonna do. I don't know whether to contain the input field in a box or just make the input field the box and visually style it with a button like this. Kind of like how Amazon does it, where you can nest the search button inside of the input field. That works too. It's a little more complicated to pull off though. This is easier to do if you do it outside like this. So I think I'm going to do something like that. And there you go. I have the nav, the product listing, search. With this page, now I'm not sure whether to make, because with this one, with this layout, the only thing that's going to scroll really is this here. That way they can find what they're looking for. They always have access to their filters. They can always type in their search bar. They always have the ability to go home. I'm not hiding anything yet. I haven't made a board for how it's going to look on mobile devices. If I have time after implementing the server and the minimum viable product, I will make it mobile responsive. I know I should start with it that way, but for now, we got to make a minimum viable product. I'm going to target it for the desktop right now, and we'll go from there. So I'm going off of this thing right here. Let me zoom in so that you can see it. Of course, it's 0. There we go. So what problems does my app solve? We have small businesses whose specialty is handcrafted woodworking, right? That's their hobby, and they invest money in this because they like doing it, right? But they want to get a little money back, right? They want to get enough money back to continue doing their hobby. Maybe they're retired. Maybe they want to grab a couple extra dollars along the way. And I'm also a business venture. I want to make a few bucks. So if I can say, hey, we'll take what you had and the raw materials. We'll try to evaluate what it's worth to you. We'll put a price, and I'll charge you like $5 a month. I don't know, like some tiny amount, and we'll provide you the tools so that you can put your stuff on this website, and I can support you because I'm directly responsible for this site. If there's a feature that you want, and enough people want that feature, it can be implemented very quickly within the manner of a couple weeks, maybe a month, depending on how complicated it is. And that would be the benefit. I mean, it's not like Amazon. You can't say, hey, Amazon, I want you to change this thing. And that would be the advantage of being a small business. And the idea is I do the work of helping you fill in the descriptions. I work with you to do marketing, SEO, and everything, and getting your name out there so that you, along with whoever else wants to be here, can get their products out on the internet across the United States, versus having you present your product in the middle of nowhere and nobody can get to it because nobody knows that it exists, where you're not finding the market that actually cares. It's how you split a spin. It's the spin you put on it, especially the fact that, hey, I use this thing at home all the time. It's really durable. It's made of wood. I made it myself. And you make it, the target would be handcrafted. I've been doing this for 10 years. I have a lot of experience under my belt. I like making really cool things out of fun pieces of wood. And you talk to them, you conversate with them, you sell them. You sell that this has value, and you give them buzzwords. Like, you don't pull it out of your butt, no, but you make good reason for it. It's like, hey, I have this thing. I spent a lot of time on it. I think it looks cool. You want to sell it? I have got a place where people come and they're looking specifically for this, right? They don't come to me because I have everything. They come to me because I'm good at the few things I do sell, and I provide excellent customer service. And, I handle them, getting them set up with their shipping and everything. And I probably could only support a few clients by myself, but that would be the point of this, is instead of being huge like Amazon and covering every market, I cover one market thoroughly, like very thoroughly. And that would be the target user would be the people that actually like the stuff. And you have to find them out there. The people who are looking for specialty artisan products, right? Not some random thing you can buy off of Amazon, right? And the prices will reflect that. They're not going to be cheap, okay? They're not going to be expensive, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but they're not going to be cheap. I'm going to try to target the price point where it feels premium along with marketing, and it is premium, and that builds up a reputation, because, the quality of Apple's products on the inside, in terms of their functioning, they're okay, right? They're not the best product out there. They're not the fastest product out there. They're not the most durable product out there, but they built a brand. It's the reputation. It's how iconic they are. It's their marketing. That's where they sold everything. Is they built a brand. They built an experience. Now, mind you, it's not always the best experience, in my opinion, but that's how they got it. So realistically, so I'm going to go to the views, right? The views, it's going to have at least 3 views. The minimum viable product, though, will be the product listing, and that will be how they get there. It needs a product description in order to make it easier to edit them. They need an admin panel or a seller panel, an easy way to edit and reorganize. It's probably gonna be a variation of this view, where they go in and they click on something, they edit it. It goes into the detail and they edit it. I could probably fit that in here, maybe. I don't know. It could be a popover. But I just think, like, if you're editing something, it should take up the whole screen. No, you should be able to easily edit it. Like, maybe all of the other ones could fade away. I don't know. That's the indecision, right? Maybe a preview button at some point would be okay. But for now, a standalone edit view with a preview on the side might be good enough. So I'm going to need another board for that. It's too bad I can't fill this in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pause recording right now. I'm going to print this out, and no, I haven't done planning the views yet. I will be right back. 1 second, please. All right, we're back. So I've figured out what I'm going to do. For the sake of time, and because it's not really necessary, what I'm going to do is this entire area here that contains this thing here can be its own controller that displays the correct components depending on the route at the URL bar. So clicking on support would change this entire thing here to the support page. You still have the search box, so you can type in, search for whatever you want, eventually even support if you needed to. It do the cart view. The only difference I think would be if when you went to checkout, like Amazon, I'm kind of going with a formula that I know already works. So that's why I'm doing it like that. Right. So dude, I swear to God, this is like a super beastly computer and it's being slow. This is nuts. I get another 2 or so boards or I have to stop. Right, hold on a sec. I gotta double check that this is the right size. It was like this big. Why? 1 second, please. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with some kind of frame. We could do another window, 1024. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna copy this as much as we can because we can't really import too much. We only have 4 of them. Let's see. So I know that the nav bar was here. It was like 150 pixels. No, 100 pixels. Took up the entire width of the page was like 960. So it was like this. Comment nav bar. What do I want this to be? The detail page. Right. Can I do this? Lovely. Oh, weird. Anyways, positioning only matters slightly here. What's important? Weirdness. Let me try that again. Weird. That was so strange. Okay, we're good. And then for the detail page, I think I'm just gonna make it like take up the whole width of the page. So we're gonna need a controller that displays the correct subparents whenever. We'll get there in a second. So do we even need the whole page though? I don't know, man. We're just gonna go like this. I don't particularly think that right now we're gonna need anything huge with this. Oh, so we're just gonna start with a form, right? I swear to God,